Buckhead. I'm the marketing manager for Local Splash. Steve Yike was slated to give this. He's our CEO, but he's unable to make the trip. But I'm very familiar with the material, so I'm going to walk you through the presentation. And if you guys have any questions during the presentation, don't hesitate to raise your hands. I'll be more than happy to help you out. When I was given the notice that I'd be giving this presentation, I wanted to kind of come up with a little story or an example of why localization is so important for today's businesses to grow. And I got to thinking, I was sitting in my hotel room last night and I was starting to look for a phone book. So I wanted to give the example of how bulky and nasty phone books are and how nobody uses them anymore. So I was looking around my hotel room and I could not find a phone book. And I was like, maybe this is a fluke. Maybe, you know, I'm not the only hotel room in here. Maybe it's just I don't have one in my room. And so I went downstairs to the lobby and I asked the lady at the front desk. And I'm staying in the Grand Hyatt. And I asked her, can I borrow the yellow pages? And she looked at me like I was speaking a different language. She did not have a phone book either. All she could come up with, all she could produce was the white pages. No yellow pages. And so the reason I say this is because I constantly hear, I go to a lot of these shows and I talk to a lot of people about digital marketing, about online marketing, local search, SEO, all these things. And people are always saying that the yellow pages are in decline. I keep hearing that. The yellow pages are in decline. And I absolutely disagree. The yellow pages decline. It's not a present statement anymore. It's in the past. You know, there are some people that might still use the yellow pages. The bottom line is they're hard to find, they're bulky, and they serve one purpose. Unlike your mobile phone or your PC or your laptop. All those serve multiple purposes, and the information is more accessible, and you get more information when you do look up local businesses. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about how to get your business, or how to get your clients' businesses on the first page of some of these results where they can utilize those different, the new technology. And I say new technology, but it was new 5 years ago. The current technology. Local search, using search engines to find products and services in your certain or local geographical area. There's two components to local search. The major component that I'm speaking about today is local SEO, or local search. All right, that's local map listings and local organic listings. And then the other component is local search engine marketing, or SEM. That's pay-per-click. And there's really two ways you can go about that. The main way is Google AdWords, everybody knows about, buying pay-per-click on search engines. And some like Google and Bing are introducing some local pay-per-click in their map sections where you can actually buy a little point marker in the map. Google tells us that 30% of all searches have local intent, whether that's explicit or implicit intent. So implicit means that it's implied. In other words, I go to Google and I type in dentist, but I don't type in Buckhead, or I don't type in Atlanta. Google knows where I am because it reads my IP address, or it reads my GPS position on my mobile phone, and it gives me local dentists. Well, explicit means that I have typed in Atlanta or Buckhead. All right, so 30% of all searches. According to ComScore, in the month of June, just last month, over 18 billion searches were performed on search engines last month in America. That's over, 30% of that's a little over 5.5 billion % of searches were local, whether it was implicit or explicit. It's a huge amount of searches. 65% of local searches are on Google. So when people are really looking for local businesses, they're turning to their mobile devices, or they're turning to their PC and they're just going to google.com, or Google's the default search engine on many, you know, I've got an iPhone, it's the default search engine on there, any of the Android products. A lot of, just about 90% of all mobile searches are powered by Google. I think I'll get into that a little bit later. So we determined Google's a great starting point for any business that's trying to get some local exposure. Google Maps show consumers contact information, driving directions, and click to call. It also shows a lot of business descriptions, videos, a lot of media, photographs, a lot of things that engage the consumer while they're looking. These consumers are hot leads. And these aren't people just flipping through the old yellow pages. They're actually getting to see and experience your business online within their mobile device. So you really want to capture them once you have their attention. This is what I was talking about. So this is the first page of Google search results. This was a search that I did this morning. This was an implicit search. So that means I didn't type in anything in the address. Well, So you see dentist was typed into the search bar up here. The first result under that is a local PPC result. That's a Google AdWords result. And then below that, you see 7 good results that Google's given me in the map section. The reason these are so powerful is because I typed in dentist. Google's given me 7 great results in my local area. I look on this map and I say, oh, we're located right here. This is right where we're located. I say, well, A is closest to me. That's the one that I want to use. All right, so it gets interactive with the user or the searcher. And people like that. People like to be able to play around with what they're using. And so they, they're given a lot of choices. If they don't like any of these choices that they're given, they can always go to the next page or just scroll over one of those red dots that don't have one of the alphabetical letters in them. And they can get a lot more choices. And then we're talking about local organic results down below here. And then on the right side, there's some more PPC. Google Maps leads local search. Like I said earlier, Google Maps integrated their map results early 2005. All right, ever since then, it's kind of taken off. It took a little dip because Google, it was brand new, there was a little trial and error process. But ever since then, Google's gotten really good at providing reliable and relevant results for the users. Google's all about providing, any search engine, it's all about providing a great search result, search experience for the user. If I type in plumber into Google, and Google gives me a list of carpet cleaners, I'm not going to be very happy with those search results, and I'm going to use Yahoo next time. So Google wants to provide results that the user can actually use. So they want to be confident in those results that they provide. Google's gotten really good at that. We think they've gotten better at that than Bing's come close to, or Yahoo, or any of the other smaller directories like yellowpages.com or Yelp or any of these things. Google's the best because it uses information from all of those sources. So here you can see Google Maps, this graph in blue showing web traffic to Google Maps. And then Yellow Pages, Super Pages, Yahoo, and Bing are all relative to that, and they barely touch the surface. Why claim your local listing? So now let's talk about how you guys can use these tools that I'm talking about, Google Maps and some of these other local search tools. So the first step would be to claim your listing or your client's listing. Let me gauge this audience. Let me understand how many people in here are agencies that have clients that are going to use local search. About half. I mean, how many? Are there any business owners in here that are trying to learn how to utilize local search? There's a few of you, about 3 or 4 of you. So this applies to everybody that just raised their hands. Claiming listings. You'll be able to teach your clients how to claim listings, or you can claim listings yourself. So why claim your listing? A local listing probably already exists for your business, okay? Anything that's a place. When Google launched Google Maps, it was just Google Maps and Google Local. It's turned into Google Places. So Google's taken all this information from the 3 core data providers, which are Axiom, Localese, and InfoUSA, and basically they got their information from the Yellow Pages and from other online directories. Okay, so they just bought all this information and created a Google Place page for it. So whether you've claimed your listing or not, you probably have some information existing on Google. Okay, now the reason that you want to claim it is because a lot of that information that was provided to them is incorrect. All right, whether it be a wrong address or a wrong phone number, a wrong website, or some of that information just might not exist at all, it's not going to be a good story for your business. You want the information provided online to be accurate and correct, and that way Google builds confidence in the information that they have, and in turn provides you with a first page search result. So here's an example of an unclaimed business listing. Okay, this was one of our clients, and before we just set a benchmark, we took a screenshot of what their unclaimed Google listing, Google Places listing looked like. So I typed in gourmet coffee in Miami, Florida. Their business name came up, they had 1 phone number, their address was correct. They only have 1 category. This category says tea house. They don't have any ratings. There's no media on here. There's no photos, no videos, no ratings, and there's no details. So needless to say, this guy was not coming up as a search result for this competitive of a search. Gourmet coffee in Miami, Florida. There's a lot of coffee shops. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of competition is what that relates to, okay? This guy was nowhere to be found. After we optimized their Google Places, so we claimed and optimized their Google Places listing, you can see how different it looks and how much more information there is for Google to read and pick apart and decipher and build confidence in this business. So now we've added multiple phone numbers. We've added a fax line, we've added pictures, we've added their logo. We've taught them how to encourage their customers to leave ratings for them. So they've got one rating on here. There's multiple pictures. Now there's even a video in this area that is, if you have a YouTube video for your business, you can upload that to your Google Places page. It's like having an online commercial right there for anybody that's searched your business, clicked on your Google Places page. There's a lot of details. And all these details in this business description, all these have keywords sprinkled throughout them, okay? Just helping Google find your business when somebody types in, for this case, gourmet coffee. And so we gave this a couple months, and you can see what kind of results this does. This is just optimizing a Google Places page correctly. All right, filling out absolutely everything you can. This went from absolutely nowhere to being letter A in the map, not just letter A in the map, but also the top 3 local organic results. All right, because we've submitted them to so many different directories. That's a huge piece of this off-site optimization, this local optimization that I'm talking about. So this is a relevant yellow listing. That relevant yellow is a directory exclusive to our business. This is a vanity landing pages, gourmetcoffeeinmiami.com. How simple is that? There was just nobody using that domain or any other domain similar to it. So Google loves that. This is just it looks like a merchant circle. It does, yeah. And so it's another organic local listing coming up from one of the local directories that we've submitted them to. And that's one thing that we practice. We submit to a lot of different trustworthy local directories, like Merchant Circle, like Super Pages, Yelp.com, all right, City Search. All these are great directories that you need to get your business information in order to expect good results on Google. So the advantages of local SEO. Customers in your local area can find your business online. It's basically taking the place of the yellow pages. The best way I explain our service is that any business that would have benefited from being in the yellow pages 5 to 10 years ago benefits from our types of service today. There's really only one way to connect with your entire audience, and that's on the internet anyway, when it comes to local advertising. High rankings are possible with off-website SEO. Even with no website, you can still get high rankings, okay? So you don't even need a website or that landing page that I was talking about. If you've done all the right things as far as submitting your business information to all those different directories that I'm talking about, and some industry-specific directories, you really got to do your due diligence and some homework, and it takes a lot of time, but most of these things are free, and you don't even need to spend thousands of dollars on your website to submit your business and get good results on the first page of Google local results. Local business listings, it validates your credibility. It enables contents like picture, video, coupons, things that I've already talked about. Best thing, it educates the user that's looking for your types of service. It gets them involved, and they, like I said, they can experience your business just by going to your Google Places page. And like I say, it's affordable. Most of the stuff is free. Okay, it just takes a lot of time, and sometimes it takes a few classes like this. So you don't just want to create a listing. And a lot of times when you go to merchant circles and to the Yelps, you're going to find that somebody's already created a listing for you, or that website's used those core data providers to get information and have already created a listing. One way or the other, you want to claim those listings and you want to correct the information, okay? And you want to optimize the information. Fill that listing out as much as possible. Put as much information as there as you can, and sprinkle your keywords in there. Don't stuff keywords. We usually try to say keep your keywords to about 15% of the content that you write. Boost your ranking by providing as much information as possible. Like I said earlier, we encourage our customers to encourage their customers to leave reviews. So you can do things like leave some websites on the back of your business cards, right? You can say, hey, how'd you find us? You found us on Yelp. Well, if you had a great experience, why don't you tell some others? You know, encourage people to leave you reviews. More reviews help Google loves businesses that have those reviews, so it helps your ranking. And find the most relevant categories. Some of you might have a hard time trying to think of 5 categories that describes your business. You know, if you're a plumbing company, plumbers are like, well, plumbing service. And we're like, well, let's try some drain cleaning or toilet repair, things like that. Things that everybody's going to be typing. And a good method to find some other categories is see what your competition is doing. Check out, do a search for your type of business in your area. See who's ranking really well. Go to their Google Places page. Check out what they're doing. They have a lot of pictures. What categories are they using? Try to mimic. If you can't beat them, join them. Try to figure out what the competition's doing. What's working is what you need to be doing. On-site local SEO. So this is the opposite of pretty much what I've been talking about. This is more traditional search engine optimization. Optimize your websites with keywords and the title tags, meta tags, and the content. You need geo-targeted domains like we talked about earlier, and some link building. And link building doesn't necessarily mean that you're sending emails to link farms and things like that asking for backlinks to your website. Link building means that you're doing a lot of article writing and some social media. So you're out there, you're creating articles, you're submitting blogs, you're doing things like that that are linking back to your website. Cool thing about local SEO is once you've got an optimized local search engine optimized campaign going, this is what powers mobile search results. Okay, so when I type in plumber into my PC, I'm going to pretty much see the same results as if I pulled out my iPhone and typed in plumber. All right, pretty much the same things are going on there. Google's powering both results. The major difference that we see is that when I pull out my iPhone, it's a lot more location oriented. Okay, they're putting a lot more weight on people that are in closer proximity to me. You saw that one result earlier when I typed in dentist in the Buckhead area. It was giving me probably about a 2-mile radius. If I pulled out my iPhone, it's probably going to knock it down to about a 1-mile radius. Okay, so it's a lot more proximity related. On mobile search results, you're going to get the map, you're going to get driving directions, business descriptions, and click to call. So it all makes it very, very easy. Google's gotten very good at their mobile maps. Google Map dominates mobile search. About 90% of all mobile searches are powered by Google. Google released their mobile search and their maps about a year after they released the PC version. And it's really evolved nicely. All the way from, Google knows exactly where you are with your GPS to you don't even need to type it in now. You're driving down the road, or I'm from California, so you can't really use your cell phone when you're driving down the road. But you can just speak straight into your cell phone. If you have an Android, BlackBerry, iPhone, just say dentist, and it'll give you results within 5 seconds. Mobile search is growing fast. So, I talked a lot about searching on the laptop or on your PC. That's almost a thing of the past already. Everybody's already pulling out their mobile phones. Half the population in the United States is under 30 years old. Everybody by about the end of 2013 is going to have a smartphone. All right, 2014, I think, 2014, there's going to be more internet access on mobile phones than there is on computers. All right, the game is changing so fast. It's so important to stay on top of it and create a great foundation for your local search today, because that local search is what powers mobile search. That's the whole point of us pointing all these things up. And 9 out of 10 smartphone searches end in action. It's another important part. These people are serious about what they're searching about. If I'm going to pull out my iPhone and go through the effort of really clicking around and scrolling and pinching and trying to figure this out, I'm serious about what I'm trying to buy. All right, so once people are using these things, you really want to be able to capture them. Like I said earlier, they're making the effort, so you need to provide them with results that they can act on easily. All right, so we've talked about local and mobile quite a bit. So now the third key is integrating some social media into your campaign. All right, so you've got this website with some links. The links are coming from the blogging, from the article submission, and from your social media. So you need to really start using some Facebook and Twitter, some other blogging and article submission sites. You need to start using couponing. Google's offering great couponing programs now. So you don't need to think about Groupon so much. You need to think about where your consumers can access these deals straight from local search, okay? So, Yelp offers great deals. Google's offering coupons. Use all this information for your whether it just be 10% off for first-time clients. You always want some kind of value proposition there, something that's going to draw the client's eyes to yours and separate you from the competition. And keeping your data consistent, updated, and fresh. So social media is going to encourage you to keep your content fresh, okay? So if you have somebody on staff that's writing content or writing blogs or articles about your business, that's great. If not, you need to spend some time doing it. You need to separate yourself and become a leader in your industry and your local area. That's a great thing about local search. You don't have to be a leader in the nation's industry. Just in your local area, you need to become the leader. Best practices. So things are changing constantly. Google's made some pretty drastic changes in the last 2 years, and we always have to make adaptations to keep up with it. All right, you're going to have to do the same. All right, do that. Do the same. Keep up with the changes that they're making, or hire somebody to keep up with them for you. Like I said, you need an employee to create the fresh content, updating all your information and adapting to the changing algorithms, or hire someone to do it for you. Some takeaway points. Local SEO is a must-have for any brick and mortar business today. Local businesses, national change, so any franchise. So if you're an owner of a Subway sandwich restaurant, you need to be on top of your local search campaign. All right, there's only so much that a corporate company can do for you from the top level. They can't manage in 20,000 locations. You need to manage everything yourself as far as your local campaign goes. Integration is key. So local SEO is great. Local search results are great. Social media is great. When you put all three of those together, they're awesome. They can really provide results. It's really affordable. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but it really pays off. The return on investment is the best you can find in terms of local advertising. Local SEO is affordable, but requires focus from internal and/or external sources. That's it. Are there any questions?
You may have answered this earlier. I just wanted to make sure. Let's say you're working with an electrical contractor, and they have only a mobile phone, and they want to optimize in the Google Places area for multiple townships or cities. You said AdWords is the clear solution for that?
It's the best solution as far, like I said, it's a trial and error process to see how much, some long tail things. Say if you are based in Atlanta, but you want to get Buckhead, and you want to get Alpharetta, and you want to get Noonan, okay? You can try to use some of those, but chances are, because you're in Atlanta, you need all that SEO juice condensed and focused on your local area. If you start trying to saturate it, then that's what's going to happen to your listings. It's going to become saturated. It's going to lose its relevance. It's going to drop down to the second or third page. But you condense that SEO juice back to just regular categories where you're not trying to expand it into those other cities. And you're not wasting your category space, your category real estate with other cities, right? Then you're not saturated anymore. So you got to try to find, maybe you might be able to get 1 or 2 suburbs, but after that, that's really going to be pushing, especially in a city like Atlanta. All right, so it's a trial and error process, and you got to give the trial and error process time. So don't just switch it and expect to see the results the next day. Give it about 2 or 3 weeks, okay? Let Google kind of get used to what the changes that you've made. See if the changes are what you want. If it's working for you, then keep it. If not, then go back to where you were and then rely on AdWords.
Wouldn't Atlanta be different because the address is Atlanta, Georgia, not Buckhead, Georgia, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, it's basically just forming a radius from wherever you are. The farther the radius is from where you are.
Yeah, the issue we have is like he's in Destin, I'm in Fort Walton, we're right next to each other, population like 10,000 and 7,000,
right.
And they're within 5 miles of each other.
But with the terms that you guys were talking about, there's 100 golf courses within 15
right.
miles.
Right.
So that's a lot of competition.
Right.
So it's all about competition. It's not about the size of the city, right? And that's how you got to think. There's 2 big things. It's how competitive is the industry, how densely populated is the city. You got to weigh those 2 out and then try to maneuver around that. If there are no more questions, I'll be available for some offline questions or some more detail up here for a few minutes. And thank you for your time.